cookies.
Bartles and James Premium Red Wine Cooler, and we thank you for your support.
1 week from tonight, fantasy turns into reality.
Why is this happening?
I need to know what's really going on.
And passion becomes obsession.
I saw him touch you.
Answer me!
David Carradine, Richard Mulligan, and Angie Dickinson. Between love and hate is jealousy. Next Sunday.
Send your check to either address on the screen. This is Vermont ETV.
75 years ago, a great leader was born, Fred Herman Tuttle. The only son of Vermont dairy farmers, Fred grew up milking cows, catching frogs, and chasing the girls. He never liked school that much and dropped out in the 10th grade. Fred joined the Army and fought in World War II. He was liberated by Paris. He came home with a worldly attitude and a brand new suit. While sowing his wild oats, he found a wife. Less than a year later, a fatal case of pneumonia left Fred a widower at age 31. Fred devoted the next 40 years to his Jersey cows. At age 72, severe arthritis and a heart attack forced him to sell everything but his household pets. 6 months later, Fred's 94-year-old father, Joe, fell and broke his hip. With a big garden and a small Social Security check, Fred and Joe tried to make ends meet, but eating their own vegetables didn't pay the bills. How would Fred find $5,000 to pay his property taxes? And how would Joe find the $28,000 due on his hip operation? The car needed a new clutch, the house needed a new roof, the barn needed a new everything, and Fred needed a job. Fred doubted anyone would hire a 73-year-old man with a 10th grade education. What Fred needed was a job that fit this description. Self-starter needed for position with excellent opportunity for advancement. Salary in six-figure range. Full medical coverage, including dental. Free haircuts. Must be your own boss. No resume, no references, no past experience required. When nothing like this job turned up in the help wanted ads, Fred turned to his dad for assistance. Father would answer. In that great man's head was the perfect job. But what was it? As a journalist, I'd covered Vermont politics for a dozen years. But I never covered a story like this one, and I never met anyone like Fred Tuttle.
And finally, Vermont's lone representative to the U.S. House, six-term incumbent William Blatchley, is virtually unopposed in his bid for re-election. We talked with the congressman earlier today.
Well, I'm very delighted to be running again in Vermont, as I have so many times in the past. This is a marvelous opportunity for me, certainly for my wife, to be down there and to represent the state. I think we bring back a lot to the state, too, though, in terms of jobs and money, contracts, and various things. This year, I have received the nomination of both major parties, and I think that's a high tribute to what people must think of my performance down in Washington.
Congressman, your only competition appears to be Fred Tuttle of Tunbridge running on the Regressive Party ticket.
I'm told there's only token opposition this year, but I think it's a good thing for democracy at any time that we have opposition, no matter who it is or how slight. So I'm delighted that it's working out the way it is.
Initially, Fred thought that if he wore a suit and tie, waved the American flag, and made grand speeches, the voters would flock to his campaign. But Fred was mistaken.
Calvin Coolidge once said, "I love Vermont because of her hills and valleys, her scenery and her climate, but most of all because of her indomitable people. They are a race of pioneers who have almost begged themselves into serving others. If a spirit of liberty should vanish in other parts of the Union and support our institutions, should I vanish, I should all be replenished from the generous store held by the people of a brave little state of Vermont. In conclusion, I do not ask why Fred Tuttle. I ask Fred Tuttle, why not?"
In fact, during the first week of his campaign, almost nothing went right for Fred. Fred was ready to throw in the towel on the whole thing, but Joe advised him to be patient.
Well, quite a while for November.
"Oh, yes, I know, Tiz. I'm going to work hard on it.
We'll find something.
What can I do different, Pa?"
We'll get some help.
"Right, Pa."
What do you mean, help you? What do you need, you know?
Well, I need money. I need somebody to talk to me, somebody to tell me what to do, because I don't know what to do, you know.
Well, I ain't much for politicians.
Well, my gosh, I want to be. See, I was trying this. The first time I've tried, you know, I lost money that family, and I got sick, and my kneecap wore out, and I got to do something and get $80,000 a year down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I'm an old batch, and I need that money. I have a new car every year. And look at all these airplane rides you'd have. Politicians, you know, going over airplanes all over the United States, ride to Europe, you know, free government money.
You ever been up in an airplane?
No, but I'm going up, boy.
Well, I'll help you what I can, Fred.
Why, I appreciate that help.
Only time will tell how things work out.
Kermit, I come up to see you. My campaign ain't doing good, you know. Campaign ain't going good at all. Gosh sake, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe you're older than I am. Maybe you can help me a little bit on it.
Could be.
I hope so, because, gosh, you know, I went over to see Edgar this morning. Edgar, he's going to help me.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to.
Well, do what you can, Kermit, because I really want to get down to Washington, you know. I'd like to be down there and earn all that money, you know, and bring back here and spend.
Right. How long will it take?
Oh, it's going to take a long time, Kermit. I work from daylight till dark now.
Yes.
Going to all these places and shaking hands.
Yeah.
Once in a while, a dog would bite me.
Yes.
All that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to help you, Fred.
Oh, I wish you could.
Just tell me what specialization I can help you with.
A little learning, maybe. I could learn something, you know. I read a book. I never read the books, you know. I can do that.
That would be a good place. How about going down to the public library, Fred? They've got lots of current magazines. And are you specializing in foreign affairs or agriculture?
Everything. Agriculture. I want to see all these farms, you know, good.
Okay, so it's basically agriculture you're going to specialize in?
Yeah.
You want to be in the House Agricultural Committee?
Yeah, that'd be good, by gosh.
I have a couple of suggestions. I think if we could find somebody to coach you on the way you talk, your two ways, your language, the way your words come out.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
But war was in his heart.
War was in his heart.
A little bit more like Winston Churchill. A bit more, you know,
like
from in
him,
your chest.
I'm going to try it.
All
yeah.
your heart.
Yeah.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
That's not bad at all. The butter part is wrong, though. You have to, there are T's in it. You have to say butter.
Butter.
Try heart.
I will.
Try it.
I will.
Heart.
Huh?
Heart. The words, war was in his heart.
The war was in his heart.
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 Butter.
Butter.
Smoother.
Smooth.
You know, what bothers me, Fred, is I think that it doesn't matter if you can't talk like all the rest of the politicians. People only need to know your name. But you need to say Fred Tuttle very clearly. Can you tell me your name?
Fred Tuttle.
You see, when you say it, it sounds like you're saying furry turtle.
Every September for the past 123 years, Fred's hometown hosts an occasion known as the World's Fair. Over the course of 4 days, 40,000 people descend on Tunbridge. Fred Herman Tuttle was waiting for them.
Why not? Boy, sure.
Watch him go, Windrow.
Vote for me for Washington. Congress. You see a better government down there now. Right. Sure will, boy. Okay. Hey, little girl. You vote for me and get old enough. You're going to vote for me, aren't you, sweetheart? Sure. I'll be right down in Washington this winter. Oh, you see a big change down there. Good.
Looks like a yellow.
Going to Washington.
Yellow.
Vote for me? Huh? I'm going down to Washington. Vote for me? Sure. You too?
Yep.
Good.
Give him hell when you get there.
I will. I'll give him hell. Don't do anything I want, boy.
Go for it.
You won't vote for me down in Washington?
Why not?
Why, sure. I'm running for Congress.
Fred decided to enter the demolition derby for 3 reasons. First, for the free publicity. Second, for the chance to win $300. And third, to sharpen his driving skills for Capitol Hill traffic. The World's Fair marked a turning point for the Tuttle campaign. Hard work had begun to pay off. But as Fred had learned from the demolition derby, sometimes no amount of hard work guaranteed success. The missing piece was luck.
Good evening, I'm Bruce Lines. In our top news story tonight, a little-known Tunbridge man has burst out of obscurity to become a presence in Vermont's congressional race. Independent Fred Tuttle, running on the Regressive Party ticket, grabbed a surprising 22% voter preference share in a poll taken last night by this station and the Rutland Harbinger. The overwhelming favorite, incumbent William Blatchley, plunged 25 percentage points from last week's high of 90%. Tuttle responded by saying he was pleased with the strong showing, but added the whole thing might be a computer error.
As it turned out, a computer error played no part in Fred's leap from obscurity. I tracked down some of the people who were polled and asked them why they liked Fred. These were some of their answers.
Well, I'm not related to Fred, but my second husband, Hollister, well, you might know him as Fudley. His great-grandmother and Fred's great-grandmother were sisters.
I don't know who this Fred guy is, but got to be improvement over that guy we've had down there for 12 years. He's surely forgotten who's put him there.
I know Fred a little bit. I worked for his dad, Joe, and Marion. And if I really had to have a choice of two evils, I guess I'd pick Fred.
Good man.
He's going to bring the girly shows back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fair.
And he likes kibbles and bets.
I'm a first-time voter, and I voted for Fred Tuttle because I like his stand on issues.
I was drunk.
I think we could use a change. Fred's a native Vermonter, and so am I. And he's had jerseys, and so have I, and I think Fred would do well by us.
22%? Who is this Fred Tuttle?
Well, look, I don't know who he is any more than you do. I mean, he just kind of came out of the hills, literally. I just showed up, and I wish I knew. We're going to have to do some research on this guy. We're going to have to find out about his past.
The guy's got something in his closet. You know, we just have to find out what it is and get it out in front of the public.
For safety's sake, the Blatchley camp assigned Jim Wallace, a sleazy freelance snoop, to dig around in Fred's past. If his opponent had committed any youthful indiscretions, the congressman wanted to know.
Mr. Tuttle?
Yeah, hello, who are you?
I'm Jim Wallace.
Jim Wallace?
Yes, sir.
You one of these, what are you, a Republican or a Democrat?
I'm a reporter.
You're a reporter?
I come from Smear Magazine. It's in New York City. It's a monthly, and we've come up here to find out all the news we're hearing. We just heard from the wire service that you're doing very well politically here.
I try to do pretty good, you know.
Well, we want to find out some information, sir.
Yeah,
so I hope
okay.
you'll answer some questions.
I try to answer them.
Now, my readers are very interested in finding out what Fred Tuttle, the man, is. Between you and me, off the record.
Off the record?
You sure?
You sure of that?
Absolutely. I want to hear about how you were when you were a young man now. Did you ever eat too much, Fred?
Well, yes, I eat too much, but sometimes I drank too much, too.
Ah, tell me about that. When did you drink too much?
I used to get drunk, you know, and go see a girl over to Stratford, and I went up and rapped on the door. And the old man, he came out and says, Fred Tuttle, says, my daughter ain't going out with you. Says, she ain't going out with somebody that drinks and drives a car fast. She might get pregnant, and you'd have to marry her. I'd be a shotgun wedding. I said, oh, I can't do that. I got mad, and I backed her into his mailbox, knocked it over.
I see.
You know, I never went back again.
Now, Fred, did you ever try marijuana when you came back?
Yeah, I've tried some of that. I had a family working here once, and she had marijuana, and I smoked 5, 6 cigarettes. You know, I got a little dizzy, but I've tried everything going, you know.
Oh, I reckon you have.
Oh, sure.
This is very interesting. Okay. Now, I understand that you're a widower, Fred, and...
Yes.
Did you ever, when you were married, did you ever think about other women, or...
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Did you ever have a little fun with some other women?
I sure did.
Oh, yeah?
Why, yes.
Oh, why don't you tell me about it a bit?
Oh, well, I had a lot of fun, you know. We're not all this confidential, you know.
This is strictly...
I don't want anybody to know about it.
This is off the record, Fred.
I want to guarantee it. I don't want to get like that Watergate and all that stuff they have down there.
Don't worry, it's between the two of us.
Okay,
right.
good.
I got a few more questions I'd like to ask.
Oh, yeah, maybe I can answer them.
Yeah. Now, you lived on the farm all your life.
Yeah.
Were you ever cruel to animals?
No, never cruel. I always good to them. There's always pets, you know.
Never mistreated any cows?
No, never
hit a cow?
mistreat any. I treat
see.
them just same as I do the pretty girls, you know, that I meet and stuff,
Okay.
you know. Yeah. Okay, yeah, good.
All right. Now, another question, Fred.
Yeah, okay.
Did you ever, when you were a kid, did you ever steal anything? No, we
Steal
all
anything?
like to take
Oh,
things.
huh?
Yeah. Did you ever
Steal?
steal anything?
Oh, gosh, I must have, I think. Everybody steals something, don't they?
Well, what did you steal?
What did I steal? Oh, my gosh. Let's see. I think maybe I stole the candy bar down the store when I was a kid, and my dad made me take it back.
You made take it back?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, Fred. Everyone steals a little bit when they're a kid, but not everyone cheats on their income tax. Now, how did you do on your income tax?
Cheat? Why cheat on income tax every year, you know. You put down stuff you bought, you didn't buy, and all that stuff, you know, to cover up. You know, they do that down in Washington, so we can do it here, see? I mean, all that. Oh, yeah, I always cheated. No, you got to really get a good living today. I need that money more than they did down there, you know. These politicians get that money down there, you know, you just throw it away, you know, all that stuff.
You cheated because you were a farmer. And you
Oh,
needed
yeah,
the
yeah, I
money.
cheated, yeah. I cheat on everything I get a chance to, you know.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I like
Most people around here cheat when they get a chance?
most of them do, yeah, most everybody. You know, that's worldwide, you know. Yeah, you know. I don't tell anybody, but I think a lot of people cheat.
Oh, this is between you and me, Fred.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. I think most everybody. Hey, you want to help me hold this barn up, would you? I got to move those pieces there, you know. I'm afraid it's going to fall down, you know. We don't want it to fall down.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Just
Fred?
hold it up here a while. I'll show you what to do. Come on up.
Where do you want me now, Fred?
Right in there. Just, just like that, see?
Okay.
And,
All right. It's not going to fall down now.
well, I don't guarantee it.
Well, okay.
Okay, you got it?
Yep.
Okay. You sure you got it?
Yeah, got it here.
Well, here's the last one. Watch it. Okay.
It's pushing.
It's pushing. Hold it. Okay, I'll be back. I gotta go to the bathroom. Something awful. You know what it is when you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, we'll come back now.
Oh, I'll be right back. Don't hurry. I have to walk in the house. I won't visit anybody. My God, I know I'm going to make it. I gotta run if I can. Oh, God. Oh.
Once Fred had taken care of Jim Wallace, he turned his attention to fundraising. Hobnobbing with the polo crowd seemed like a good place to start, but in spite of a natty outfit and a sweet stroke, Fred got nowhere. It wasn't his fault, though. The polo set had migrated to Palm Beach for the winter, so Fred tried the next best thing.
The U.S. Senate Majority Leader visits Vermont tomorrow. Senator William Sloan Coffin of Connecticut will introduce his colleague and good friend, Vermont Representative William Blatchley, at a rally on the Green in Stratford. Blatchley's opponent, Fred Tuttle, will also be speaking.
To my mind, there are three kinds of patriots. Two bad, one good. The bad kind are the uncritical lovers of their country and the loveless critics of their country. The good kind of patriot is one who carries on a lover's quarrel with his or her country, a reflection, I might add, of God's eternal lover's quarrel with the world. Now, Lord knows Congressman Blatchley loves his country, its rocks and rills, its woods and templed hills which surround us in this beautiful state of yours. And Lord knows he loves the American people, particularly those who live in this state. But he loves his country so much that he quarrels with it for what it is not, but might yet be if only more of its citizens cared. Ladies and gentlemen, caring is the greatest thing. Caring matters most. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce a caring congressman. Congressman Blatchley.
Thank you, Senator Coffin. Unfortunately, I can't stay with you very long this afternoon because, as you know, we have 2 big votes coming up in Washington, and I have to be there, and so I'm flying back as soon as we get done here. Now, I have an opponent this time, and I'm glad to have an opponent. I think that's what democracy is all about. I would also like to suggest, however, that, well, let's say if we had 2 buses of the Vermont Transit System parked out here, and you were going to take a trip to Boston, you have one opportunity to get on a bus with a driver who's been there and doing that same route for 12 years. You have another opportunity to take on a bus with a driver who probably has just found the road map. Which would you do?
Kermit Grimes was supposed to have been here. Can't see nobody. Well, I'll have to give my speech alone here, all these audience. I'm Fred Tuttle, running for Regressive Party in Washington, and I'm pretty sure and hope I get it. But seriously, in order to get elected, I'm not going to promise you more jobs, lower taxes, or a white Christmas. I'm going to offer you the attitude of direction. I'm a man with a plan. I'm not a perfect man, and this is no perfect plan, but my pa says the whole world's going to hell, and we ain't got any time for those details. This is my plan. F is for friendly. R is for renewable. E is for extraterrestrial. D is for dinky.
The problem with campaigning in Vermont is that most Vermonters live not in cities or towns, but along dirt roads. Tunbridge alone has 10 miles of paved roads and 90 miles of dirt roads. Since Fred couldn't afford television ads, how was he going to reach all those isolated voters? A veteran of World War II, Fred had an idea. problem with a leaflet drop is that you can never know if your propaganda reaches registered voters. Fred Tuttle was news, and I wanted to find out more about the candidate and the man. I thought, you know what I thought we could do is, though, we could start out by you telling me a little bit about yourself.
Me? Tell me.
Some of the easier questions.
Oh, easier. I don't know the hard question.
How old are you? Just for starters.
73 years old.
73?
Yeah.
Born in Tunbridge?
Yes, born in Tunbridge, July 18th, 1919.
Tell me a little bit about your parents.
Oh, my mother died when I was 10 years old. She had gallbladder operation in 1924, and she was sick ever since till she died. They, back then they didn't know about operations.
Right.
Yeah.
And your dad?
My dad, he's 95, still going strong. On his third marriage.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What did he do?
He always farmed. We always farmed here together. That's all we ever done is farm.
And what about your childhood? What did you do when you were young?
Oh, childhood, what I could, I used to play some and run around, ride my bicycle, chase hens and ducks and stuff like that, and the girls some.
And when did you start milking cows?
Oh, about 8 years old when I started milking. And at 11 or 12, I was doing the milking all alone.
And so you've been farming pretty much all your life?
Oh, yeah, all my life until I got sick, my knees went, and I had a heart attack, and I sold my cattle.
And when did you sell out?
Oh, I sold my cattle about 7 years ago when I had my operation, and just 4 years ago I sold my heifers. That's pretty darn good corn, but been a lot better before frost got it, see?
Yep.
It don't look quite so good. Bugs in it, too. That's awful.
You can still put it up, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's awful good roasted, you roast that.
So you want to talk a little politics?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Right. I like that,
Why don't you tell me, why are you running for Congress?
Well, awful short of money. Money's all gone, and everything's wrong. And I want to change down in Washington, I don't like waste. Oh, too much money spent down there,
But you're doing it for the money,
Yeah, I'm doing it for money. Yeah. I like that $80,000 a year, And
well, they pay you more than that.
Huh?
$129,500 is what
I'll
they
take
get
that,
now.
I'll take anything you give me down there. But more or less, I want to help the people here in this state of Vermont,
Help them how? What's the dominant theme of your campaign? If you had a big issue, what's the major issue? What's that?
Oh, I want to see Vermont have better bridges. The bridges are all caved in. They put them all up after the 27 flood. And the bridges all caved in. They ain't even safe to lead a tomcat across them, And I want to see new bridges, new highways, better school system.
You sound like you're promising a chicken in every pot for everybody.
Oh, a chicken in every egg, that's right.
So how are you going to pay for it, Fred?
Huh?
How are you going to pay for it all?
Oh, that money down in Washington they're spending, we're going to keep that. We aren't going to let them throw it away on these airplane rides and all these big parties they're having and the beer just drinking and all that money they're wasting. We're going to come back here to Vermont and we're going to use it,
So, but why are you the guy to do it? Why should Vermonters vote for you? Why should they send you to Congress?
Oh, I'm a pretty good fella, see. I'm a pretty smart man, down there. I'm awful dumb here campaigning, but still I'm smarter than they are down there.
How so?
That's why they want to send me, see.
How do you know they want to send you?
Well, I'm pretty sure they do. Everybody claps and waves a hand to me, when I go out campaigning. Just once, no woman took a broom to me. She didn't like me somewhere, and then the dog bit me once, twice, But
that's a hazard of campaigning.
But most of them shake hands to me, say I'm going to vote for you, because they want to change down there,
How about the environment? How do you feel about the environment? You consider yourself an environmentalist?
Yeah, we have all these dumps around here. They take stuff years ago, the old farmer took his dump out in the back of the barn and stuff, threw it away, then buried it up, and it was all right.
And what about these days?
Oh, these days, I think they should take all those newspapers and all that stuff down to Cape Canaveral, down to Florida.
Yeah.
Put them on that big thing, they shoot stuff up in space.
Launch the garbage into space.
I think that would do it. I'd like to see something like that.
All right.
That's all we need up in space. I don't know what's up there, Maybe people go to heaven, they're up there somewhere, but...
Right. So, let's talk a little bit about these poll numbers. You know, a while ago, you weren't even registering in the polls, and suddenly this new poll comes out, and you've got 22%. Is there any explanation for that?
Well,
you came out of nowhere.
I know I come out of nowhere, but I'm going somewhere.
People are surprised now to see that you've gotten those kind of polls. I mean, well, why do you think that is?
Oh, I don't know, really.
You know, you don't think it's a mistake, do you?
I might be. Yeah, you know, I've talked my head off for 74 years, and this is the only time it's ever going to melt anything.
Might get you down to Washington,
They get me down to Washington. Because you have a lot of that bull stuff down there, you know, and that's what they want.
Now, let's say you did get down to Washington, D.C. What's the first thing you'd do down there? What would be the first thing you would do on Congress?
Me, first thing.
Would you raise your own pay?
Yeah, I'll raise my own pay, sure. They do that. And then I go to these parties they have, you know, and then I'd vote. If I happen to be there, I'd vote on some stuff. You know, you don't have to be there all the time.
What about for the people who sent you there? What would you do for them?
Oh, I'd just call back on the telephone now and then and headquarters, you know, and tell them what I was doing down there.
Now, Fred, this ain't going to look good in the paper.
Oh, yeah.
If I write this.
Yeah.
I mean, because most people who run for Congress, you know, they go down there because they want to do the right thing.
I don't think a lot of people buy your paper anyway, do they?
Well, I don't know about that.
You know.
I don't know. We sell enough of our newspapers.
You're a pretty good reporter, then.
I don't know.
It's going to be just as it is. You're putting the paper, I mean, just as I told you.
Yeah, I'm doing a story about Fred Tuttle. I'm going to try and tell people who you are. A lot of people don't know you still.
Maybe, by gosh, you can help me. You know, that'll bring that vote up to 31% from 20, won't it?
Maybe.
Well, I hope so. You know, every little bit counts.
Let me just ask you one question. Why Fred Tuttle?
Why not Fred Tuttle?
Fred Tuttle, the newest face in Vermont politics, has jumped another 11 points in this week's Rutland Harbinger poll. Incumbent William Blatchley, who slipped to a 57% share, again has declined Tuttle's offer to debate. Tuttle reiterated his desire to debate anytime, anywhere, and in any language. Weather's next after this.
Congressman Bill Blatchley loves to get back to Vermont. Like most of us, there's nothing Bill enjoys more than chopping firewood. But luckily, Bill spends most of his time on Capitol Hill, chopping pork out of the budget. For the past 28 years, Bill and his wife, Ann, have made Vermont their home. As a respected member of Congress, Bill's created thousands of jobs for Vermonters like you. As chairman of the House Committee on Agriculture, Bill's ensured a bright future for Vermont's family farms. When Social Security was threatened by budget cuts, Bill Blatchley was there to lead the filibuster. And when it comes to the future of Vermont, who should we rely on to protect our vital interests? Who should we look to for leadership? Bill Blatchley. That's who.
Skipper's at the weather map now with some good news.
Vermont ETV is broadcast premiere of Man with a Plan. It's been called a mockumentary by People magazine, a political satire by the New Yorker, a charmer of a comedy by the Boston Globe, and we're calling it a homespun political spoof. We're delighted to bring this Vermont ETV product by Tunbridge filmmaker John O'Brien to you for your enjoyment. This 1996 film stars Tunbridge farmer Fred Tuttle, and we're delighted to have them both in the studio with us this evening. We are honored to be premiering Man with a Plan here on Vermont ETV, and we're hopeful that you'll call the number on your screen right now and say thank you to your public television station for delivering Vermont's own film right into your living room. Special thanks to Magic Hat Brewery for partial funding for the broadcast of Man with a Plan. We're very grateful for their support. Hi, I'm Leanne Lee, a staff member here at Vermont ETV. With me is Ron Redmond from Frontier Communications, and we are with lots of volunteers, Fred Tuttle himself and John O'Brien, and we are all going to invite you to call that toll-free number on your screen and say thank you, Vermont ETV, for bringing this marvelous film right into my home. If you call at the $60 level, we will say thank you by sending you the video of this actual film that you are watching right now. $75 pledge, well, we have a Spread Fred t-shirt that we would love to send to you. And for their $100 level, well, we have a gift pack that includes not only the video, but also a Spread Fred button and a Spread Fred bumper sticker, as well as a year's subscription to Yankee Magazine. But call that toll-free number right now and tell our volunteers that you're enjoying the film, you think it's a marvelous idea, and you would like to be a member. It's toll-free, 1-800-639-8303.
And don't go away, because as Leanne was saying, we've got John O'Brien and Fred Tuttle in the studio here. They're going to be with me in just a minute, so stay tuned. But first, I want to thank the great volunteers we have here tonight from Trinity College and from Magic Hat. They're ready to take your calls. We've got a man with a plan, and we've got a plan here in the studio tonight to also have you become members of Vermont ETV or to renew your membership. All you have to do is give these great folks a call, and they're ready to help you become a member. And as Leanne was saying, we've got some great thank you gifts. There's our first call. KJ's taking a call right now. But we need more phones ringing right now while we can. So go to the phone if you can and dial that toll-free number and let us know that you enjoy Man with a Plan, that you support Vermont ETV for the kinds of programs, the kinds of great local programs that we're able to debut here, right on television for you to enjoy on a great Sunday evening. Again, those great thank you gifts for the $60 level, we'll send you a VHS cassette. That's for a $60 pledge. And for a $75 pledge, we'll send you that T-shirt, which I'm wearing and Leanne is wearing also. And then also for the $100 pledge level, we'll send you our gift pack, which includes a button, a bumper sticker, and a subscription to Yankee Magazine, as well as that VHS cassette. So go to those phones now and take advantage of those great opportunities. And also stay tuned, because Fred Tuttle and John O'Brien will be with us in a second. But first, go to the phone, won't you? 800-639-8303.
It's wonderful to hear the phones ringing in the studio. That's what it's all about. We're turning viewers into members, and you make it possible for us to present films like this, our own Vermont film, right into your living room. You know, we are conducting a membership drive here, and we have a goal of $561,000 for the month of December. Now, what we're doing here is trying to reach a plateau right now. Let's get to the $500 mark. Then we'll go on to the $1,000 mark, and we reach these little milestones that help us with that overall December goal of $561,000. So far, month to date, we're at just over $77,000, and that's all because of you and your support. But if you're not yet a member of Vermont ETV and you appreciate the work that we do here, the programs that we deliver right into your living room, call that number on your screen right now. With a $60 pledge, well, we'll say thank you by sending your very own Man with a Plan that you can put in your video library and enjoy time and time again whenever you have the chance. For your $75 level, well, we have the Spread Fred t-shirts that we would just know you'll enjoy. At the $100 level, we have the gift pack, which includes the video of Man with a Plan, the Fred button, the Spread Fred bumper sticker, as well as your subscription to Yankee Magazine. But the most important thing for you to do is to call that toll-free number and say thank you, Vermont ETV, for bringing Man with a Plan right into your living room. That's why you are supporting movies like this, homegrown movies made in Vermont, here on Vermont ETV. That number is 1-800-639-8303.
And I'm here in the studio with Fred Tuttle, the star of Man with a Plan, and also John O'Brien, who is the writer, producer, creator, initiator. And it's great to have him. Fred, I wanted to ask you a quick question. I know that you've been through quite a bit with doing this movie. What's it like now?
Oh, I had a wonderful time doing it. A wonderful time. Best time of my whole life. John took me to New York City, Washington, D.C., Chicago, all those places I never could have gone and been through the movie, and John O'Brien. I really enjoyed myself very much.
What's it like being a star in Vermont?
It's pretty good.
Get kissed by a lot of babies and ladies?
Yes, I get kissed by a lot of babies, a lot of older babies.
Yeah, and ladies too?
And ladies too.
Well, that sounds pretty good. John, this is the first part of a trilogy, right? You've done a film previously, and now you've done this plan, and then this film, and you have one more on the way?
Right, yeah. It's called Nosy Parker. We just shot it. It's about listers. I don't know if people up here know about town listers, but they're the property tax assessors. So if you like taxes, if you like mysteries, love stories, and comedies, you'll like the movie.
Great. Well, we appreciate it. Also know that PBS has shown great interest and will be carrying this movie eventually, I think, next year sometime. So I wanted to ask you, Fred, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
Oh, the angels.
Tell me about the
those angels. They were beautiful girls.
Which is the sex scandal.
I kissed both of them, you know, and they gave me some drink, and we had a great time.
You're giving away the movie, Fred. They haven't seen that yet.
They haven't?
The viewers haven't seen that part yet.
Oh, my God.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Never best part holding the band. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's all right. Well, we got some more people we need to have call in right now. Let's go back to Leanne. Thanks, Fred. 1-800-639-8303.
I just heard a cowbell. That's someone calling in a pledge of $100, and you know what that means. We'll make some progress on our tote board that's right at $660 right now. That's absolutely marvelous. We'll also send them the gift pack, which includes the video of Man with a Plan, the Fred button that I'm wearing here, along with the Spread Fred bumper sticker and a year's subscription to Yankee Magazine. But call right now and do your part. There's another cowbell, another $100 pledge coming in. More progress on that tote board. Let's see if we can get it to the $1,000 mark. I know we can reach it in this break, and then we'll go on to the $2,000 mark. All these little milestones, all these calls, all these cowbells, all these viewers turning into members are going to get us to that overall December goal of $561,000. We can do it with your help. I know we can. Say thank you to Public Television for delivering this Vermont-grown, this Vermont-made film right into your living room. This is what Public Television is all about, and we can do it because of you and your support. Viewer support represents 56% of our income picture. That's how important you are to our survival. That's how important you are for us to continue to deliver programs like this to your living room, to everyone who has access to a television set. Call now. It's toll-free, 1-800-639-8303.
I'm here with Fred Tuttle, the star of Man with a Plan, and with John O'Brien, who's the writer, creator, producer of the film. And we were just talking, actually, just off camera about Vermonti TV, and Fred was saying that you watch Vermonti TV?
Oh, yeah, about 2 or 3 times a week. My wife and I enjoy it. Nothing else to do. We can't watch that other stuff, you know, they have.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah, just a little, not enough on TV to really keep your interest, but Vermonti TV does it?
Yeah, we like it. We like it. I like to hear those bells ring, you know, dingo, dingo. Sound like the old cowbell years ago.
Can we get some cowbells ringing here?
Yeah,
just
there they go. There they go.
That sound like the dairy farm. Now, you were a dairy farmer
we have always had cowbells.
Yeah, how long were you a dairy farmer for?
All my life, up till about 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Started out early.
That's great. That's fantastic. John, what was it like for you putting that movie together? Now, you two are neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Fred and John are both neighbors, and when you put that movie together, you walked over and talked to Fred and said, "Hey, Fred, we're doing a movie," or how did that go?
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Well, I made a movie before this called Vermont is for Lovers, and Fred was one of the standouts of that. So I said, oh, this guy really should be the star of his own movie. So I just said, well, what? I want you in the movie a little bit. You didn't realize you were going to be the star.
No. I want that.
And here we are, 5 years later.
Now, and the great thing, too, is that there's neighbors. All of the neighbors in the movie are your neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kermit and all the other folks. Now, what was it like being taught how to speak? You had a neighbor who was giving you voice coaching.
She's in British Isles, and I went down to her place, and she tried to teach me how to speak.
How'd she do?
She done wonderful.
Okay.
Done a lot better than I did.
That's great.
You don't have an English accent, though.
No.
What happened?
I don't know. I could have had that.
Well, now, I was also reading that at one point you wanted to be an aucauctioneer, Fred.
Yeah, when I was young growing up, I wanted to be. But we had the cows, and I had to stay home and farm. I went 2 years to high school. Then after that, I went to the Army. 4 years in the Army. So.
What do you think, though? Being a farmer and a movie star?
I've been a farmer and a movie star.
And a veteran.
And a veteran. And
let's move back to those phones. Pick up that phone now. Call 1-800-639-8303.
We are making marvelous progress on that tote board, and we really thank you for calling in your support to Vermonti TV, your public television station, and in particular for Man with a Plan. Call now if you're not a member. You know, we have about 40,000 viewers who have already turned into contributing members here at Vermonti TV, and we are ever so grateful for them and their support, because we simply wouldn't be here at all without you. So if you're not yet a member, go to your phone, make that pledge, whether it's $60 and we'll send you the video. For $75, well, we'll send you the marvelous t-shirt, Spread Fred. For your $100 pledge, we will send you the gift pack, which includes the video, the bumper sticker, the Fred button, and a year's subscription to Yankee Magazine. But call right now. And you know, when you make a pledge of, well, normally it's $35, but because we're celebrating 30 years of public television here in Vermont, for a $30 pledge, you will receive our Vermont ETV member card. And this allows you discounts to over 100 participating organizations throughout New England and Canada. So won't you call right now? We'll send you your member card. If it's $100, we'll ring a cowbell. We'll inch our way up on that tote board. Let's see if we can get to that $2,000 mark right now. That would be absolutely marvelous. It's a toll-free call thanks to Frontier Communications, 1-800-639-8303.
The holidays are coming. Need a gift idea? How about a year's worth of Vermont ETV? If you know a friend or a member of the family who is a fan of Vermont ETV, this may be the perfect gift. The gift recipient becomes an instant member of Vermont ETV and will receive 12 monthly issues of our program guide, as well as advance notice of upcoming events and specials. Your $35 pledge not only makes a great gift, it also helps support a year's worth of programs. Give the gift of Vermont ETV this holiday season. Call now.
And I'm here in the studio with Fred Tuttle, star of Man with a Plan, and also with John O'Brien, who's the producer, the writer, the director of the film. And we're just talking this evening and waiting for you to call in and make a pledge to Vermont ETV, to dial that toll-free number at the bottom of your screen. Volunteers here from Magic Hat and Trinity College ready to take those pledges. So let's go back and talk a little bit with Fred and John both. Fred, are you thinking about taking some acting lessons? Somebody told me that, I don't think you need them, but somebody told me you were...
I think I do need them.
No?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I do need them. I would if I was younger. I'd take acting lessons, yeah.
Would you like to be an actor full-time?
I would if I was young, yeah, sure, if I was young.
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe now's the right time.
I'm too old now.
John, what's been happening now for both of you? Since you've done the movie, you've gone out and done a lot of promotion and talked to a lot of places. What kinds of things have you all done?
Well, we got turned down by most of the major festivals and distributors, and I think it was because Fred's a septuagenarian. The film has no real sex in it, no real violence in it. It's about the American countryside, not the English countryside, and it's about politics, which is all those together death at the box office. So we had to self-distribute, and that's meant over the last, 2.5 years, we've probably done 200-300 in-person dates. We go to theaters as far away as Chicago and New York and Washington and pitch the film. But it's made it unusual. I mean, you don't see movies like this in theaters very often, and you don't see them on television very often, so it's been great.
Fred, what was it like to be on national television?
Oh, I enjoyed that.
You were on Conan O'Brien?
Yes, on Conan O'Brien show. You know, I can't walk without these crutches. Conan O'Brien show, I had them laid down, and I got up without my crutches. My wife noticed it at home. She said, what happened?
Something about television, Fred.
Yeah, something about television.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the connection between Vermont ETV and PBS. Now, I understand that PBS is definitely interested in your film, and tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, with ETV's help, we're going to essentially get it to play on PBS all around the country next year during the election, hopefully October and November.
98,
yeah.
That's great.
So it's really the first time I think that, certainly it's new for us to play nationally like this, but also for ETV to take a homegrown talent, the local ham, and really work to get it out nationally.
That's great. And John was telling me a little bit earlier that he graduated from Harvard and attended the School of Government there.
Right, yeah.
So certainly some of the political things that are going on there, I'm sure that's a love of yours or just an interest, and that's what inspired you to do the film.
Yeah.
There's another pledge there for $120. We need you to go to the phone right now and support what Vermont ETV is doing. We can bring great people like Fred Tuttle and John O'Brien here, but we need your pledge to keep doing it. Dial 1-800-639-8303.
You know, it's interesting. You heard John O'Brien say that this was a difficult film to market because it didn't have sex and it didn't have violence in it. Well, that's the perfect role of public television. We like it because it doesn't have sex and because it doesn't have violence. So we are delivering that right into your living room, and we're proud to be distributing that nationally to the other public television stations starting in October of next year. You know, we would like to say thank you to you by sending you the video of Man with a Plan. All you have to do is call that toll-free number and become a member of Vermonti TV at the $60 level, and we will send this out to you. You know, you can get it in time for the giving season as well. If you put it on your MasterCard, your Visa, or your American Express, we have these in stock and we'll send them out immediately. But do call right now and say thank you to Vermonti TV. There's another cowbell, and another cowbell means another $100 pledge coming in and another notch up on that tote board. We're trying to get to that $2,000 mark just as soon as we can, so then we can go on to the $3,000 mark, and it's up to you. So won't you help us out? Go to the phone right now. It's a toll-free call, 1-800-639-8303.
And if you've just tuned in, we're talking with Fred Tuttle, who's the star of Man with a Plan. And we're also here with John O'Brien, who's the producer, writer, director. John, am I getting that all right? You've kind of a one-man thing here. A definite,
everything but star.
Everything but star. A definite collaboration between these two. These two are neighbors in Tunbridge, and John got together with Fred and put this film together, and what a remarkable thing that it is that you were able to put this together. And it's, if you've been listening earlier, it's really taken off, and PBS is now interested in looking at they will be showing it in October, November of next year. So now you spent quite a bit of time as a dairy farmer. What was?
Oh yeah, all my life dairy farmer, all but World War II.
Do you ever miss any part of that?
Oh yeah, I miss it all. I miss it every day.
Yeah.
At night I wake up and I see, oh, I got to go to the barn and see if the cows are okay. You know, something you never get over.
And you still got some animals, I'm sure. That you
just a dog and cat.
Now I remember saw one cat in the movie where you were.
Yeah, that cat we still got at my house.
Is that Snowball?
No, that's a white cat, black cat.
Black cat.
Snowball died a couple years ago.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and the dog died last year too.
Oh dear. Yeah. You're gonna be getting some more animals soon.
Yeah, sometime. Yeah.
That's great. John, what's up?
No, I was just going to say that Fred's really a great survival story, because the reason he's not farming, he still would be milking now, but what have you had? 3 heart attacks, survived prostate cancer, he's got arthritis in his knees, cataract operations, diabetic, and after all that, you know, he switches careers and is very successful at playing himself.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, just personally, standing here, we've had a lot of chance to get to know each other. It's been really great, just spending time with both of you. It really is truly what you convey on the screen is exactly who you are.
Yeah,
and
life can begin at 75.
Yeah, 75. Begun.
Life can begin for Vermonti TV, again, if you can go to the phones and dial 1-800-639-8303.
Fred makes me feel very young. That's great. We're asking you right now to call that toll-free number and help us get that tote board to the $3,000 mark. We did go over that $2,000 mark, and that's absolutely wonderful. I'd like to thank Glenn Walters of Colchester for calling in a pledge, Ann Tracy of Plattsburgh. Thank you ever so much, Ann. Tom Kirchen of East Montpelier. Thank you so much for calling in your pledges of support here for Man with a Plan. Don't forget, it just takes a $30 pledge to say thank you, Vermonti TV. Thank you for bringing Vermont's own filmmaker and film right to my living room. And stay with us. We're going to be going back to the movie in just a matter of seconds right now. And do stay with us throughout the whole marvelous film. And John O'Brien and Fred Tuttle will be with us throughout the movie. So don't go away. You just have time to go to the phone right now. Don't forget, you will receive a Vermonti TV member card when you call in your pledge of $30 or more. That entitles you to discounts to over 100 participating organizations throughout New England and Montreal and Canada. So call right now. Lots of volunteers standing by, waiting to talk to you and tell them that TV worth watching is TV worth paying for.
We'll return to our program in just a moment. But first, here's a look at more TV worth watching coming soon on Vermonti TV.
Vermonti TV presents Vermont Memories 2 into the 50s.
The car was a big thing in the 50s.
It was the era of affluence.
Come relive the era of flashy cars, roadside restaurants, and the emergence of ski resorts and modern appliances.
And by the way, do you know exactly what your family would do if an attack came?
Get back into the 50s once again with Vermont Memories 2. Wednesday at 9, only on Vermonti TV. By becoming a member, you make our programs possible. Thank you. Operators will remain by the phone during the next program to take your pledge. If you prefer to pledge by mail, send your check to either address on the screen. This is Vermont ETV.
My editor wanted more on Fred, so I trekked back to Tuttle Campaign Central a week later.
How much you raised so far?
Oh, $30.27.
30.27.
Yeah.
And how'd you come across $30.27?
Oh, that was mostly in donations. You know, I went where women was, you know, and I'd hold my hat out and tell them I was running for Congress, and they thought I looked pretty good, you know, they'd put a quarter in maybe.
Well, you know, a lot of people say it takes $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 to win a
Oh,
win a
I
seat
know,
in Congress in
These
Vermont.
big shots, it takes a lot, but I think I can make it a little cheaper, you know. Folks, you know, they're going to kind of like me after this campaign, you know, and they're going to vote for me, and a lot of them don't really care who they vote for anyway, you know.
All right, we gonna head in the house here?
I want you to meet my dad.
Oh, be glad to.
Yeah, he's 95 years old.
How's he doing?
Pretty good. He always voted Republican.
What does he think about you running for Congress?
Oh, he likes that. He thinks that's a good idea.
Joe, what do you think about him getting involved in politics?
Good idea.
You think it's a good idea? So you think your son would make a good congressman?
Yeah.
Why would he make a good congressman?
Well, he's always worked hard on time, knows all about business, everything.
Yeah.
He'd vote for the family.
Now, how have you voted over the years? You always vote Republican. You're a good Vermonter. You always vote Republican, don't you?
Well, I vote for the best man, in my judgment.
So what about when he goes to Washington? What are you gonna do without him here?
Oh, have to learn some way.
Yeah.
Fred, you're supposed to take your hat off. Oh.
While Fred made slow but steady progress with registered voters, he rapidly became something of a cult figure among the non-voting public.
Third graders. This is Fred Tuttle. He's
Please
running.
meet your children.
He's running for Congress. Do you
Running for
people know what
Congress.
Congress
Regressive
is?
Party.
Regressive Party. What's that? What's Congress?
Washington, you know, that big capitol down there. Boy, I'm going to be down there. I have a plan, a Fred plan. It's friendly, renewable, extraterrestrial, and dinky. Today we're going to talk about this extraterrestrial. It's up in space. Kids have heard about space up in there, you know. And we're going to get all our garbage and put it up in space eventually, so we won't have it in this country, you know. Want everything be up in space. Maybe I'll go up myself sometime. You kids like to see me up in space?
Yeah.
Good, good. We're going to do an exercise today to make us appreciate the Earth a lot more in our place in space. I'm the sun. Who are you?
Mercury.
Mercury? Good. I'm the sun. Who are you?
Venus.
Venus? Good. I'm the sun. Who are you?
The moon.
The moon? I'm the sun. You're the Earth?
Yeah.
Good. I'm the sun. Who are you, young fella?
Mars.
Mars? Good. I'm the sun. Who are you?
Jupiter.
Jupiter, good. I'm the sun. Who are you?
Io.
Io, good. I'm the sun. What do we have here?
Saturn.
Saturn. I'm I'm the sun. Who are you?
Uranus.
Good, good. I'm the sun.
I'm Neptune.
Neptune, good. I'm the sun. Who are you?
Pluto.
Are you ready?
Yeah!
Are you ready?
Yeah!
Okay, orbit.
An outspoken opponent of PAC contributions, congressional candidate Fred Tuttle raised eyebrows today when he confessed that he too had accepted PAC money. Citing the need for more advertising, Tuttle accepted $16.89 from Cub Scout PAC 254 yesterday in Sharon. Tuttle asked Vermonters to forgive him for his flip-flop on this controversial issue. Tuttle also added that if elected, he will not kowtow to the powerful Cub Scout lobby. Polls now indicate that Tuttle trails incumbent William Blatchley by only 11 points. Blatchley, reached at his McLean, Virginia home, denied reports that he was avoiding a debate with Tuttle. Blatchley said he would make a definite decision in the next day or two. Good morning, I'm Bruce Lyons. In our top story, the long-awaited congressional debate is scheduled for this evening. And in a surprise development, incumbent William Blatchley has picked the tiny village of Moscow, Vermont, to be the setting for tonight's clash. Edgar Dodge, the spokesman for the Tuttle campaign, said he felt Blatchley's sudden decision was aimed at catching Tuttle off guard and unprepared. However, Dodge predicted Tuttle would be firing on both cylinders tonight.
Well, Fred, I tell you, we kind of meant here today that we realize that you're going to have a debate tonight, and we have hopes we can perhaps suggest a few things that may help you, because that debate is probably going to be extremely important in the outcome of the election. You see, it's going to be covered, of course, you know, by the newspaper and the media, the press, the television, and radio, and the whole bit. And this is the one shot you get, you might say, before all these people that will, and they'll publicize, of course, for what happens. And so you take great care, and we're going to try and help you with some things that you might be able to, might help you tonight.
Fred, I want to remind you some of the things that we've practiced before, that you have to speak very clearly.
Very clearly, yeah.
Because people are going to be asking you questions, and they're going to want to listen to the answers, and they're going to need to understand you, so that you have to stand up very straight, and you have to speak from here, you know, and you have to project your voice. You have to talk to the person who is sitting at the very, very back of the hall, not just to the few people on the front row. Okay? And you have to remember that there are words that people like to think that their politicians are very smart.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they're used to politicians giving them very big words. So you have to try to use some big words.
I will.
Like, you have to talk about infrastructure.
Yeah,
Can you say it even?
Infrastructure.
Yeah. Infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructure. I can say that. Yeah, okay.
And you have to talk about hegemony.
Germany.
Hegemony.
Hegemony.
No. Leave Germany out of it, Fred. Let's forget that one. Let's just do infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Fred, I think the most important thing is to keep your answers brief. The public doesn't like long, detailed explanations. They get bored. And if you want to get their attention, keep it brief.
I don't have anything more to tell you, but you can read some of this tonight. Well, I can't read all that, but tonight, well, part of it. Gosh, sake.
Well, Fred, in regard to that debate tonight, we've got a few practice questions that we want to answer, kind of practice this sort of thing. You know.
Fred, I have one on education. Is a college education worth $100,000?
No.
Fred, let's try a question on health. How many alcoholic beverages can you consume before it's unsafe to drive?
Oh, a lot of them.
People are very concerned about morality, Fred. Okay, so here's one on that. What are the 7 deadly sins?
Deadly sins?
Yeah.
Quite a few, I suppose. Alcohol, and when you commit suicide, and when maybe you take somebody else's wife, I suppose that would be a deadly sin, and automobile accidents, and well, there's a lot of things. Fred, what's your favorite cow? Jersey.
This is sport, Fred. What is a period in polo called?
Chaka.
Fred, certainly history question will come up. Historically at the World's Fair, who was rounded up at 3 a.m. and herded off the fairgrounds as undesirable?
The Soviet people.
Fred, now we have a question on defense. How many sides does the Pentagon have?
8.
Energy is very important these days. What will happen to the Earth when we run out of oil?
We'll just be cold.
There was no way Fred could study for the big debate and drive at the same time. So at the last minute, he got himself a chauffeur.
Hey, you're going into the house.
No, I ain't going in the house.
Reverse back. How many stars can you see on a clear night? At any given time on the clear night, in a dark place with no obstructions on the horizon, 2,500 stars are visible to the naked eye. The rubber capital of the world is Akron, Ohio. Cement City, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Celery City, Kalamazoo, Michigan. The state song of Florida, Old Folks at Home. Maine, state flower, pine cone. State flower of Texas, blue bonnet. The capital of Texas is Austin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this congressional debate between Congressman William Blatchley and his opponent from the Regressive Party, Fred Tuttle. This evening is sponsored by the League of Chicken Pot Pie Suppers, who welcome you all. I'm Richard Steele of UPS, and I'll ask my colleagues to introduce themselves.
I'm Elizabeth Covington from radio station WYCS.
And I'm Jim Falzerano from the Montpelier Times.
The format for this evening will be that the members of the media will ask 2 questions to each of the candidates, and the other candidate will have a chance for a rebuttal. At the end of the session, the candidates will have an opportunity to question each other. The first question goes to Mr. Tuttle. Mr. Tuttle, Vermont is very much concerned about the survival of agriculture and family farms. What would you try to do in Congress to improve agriculture and its prospects?
I got a plan here, friendly, rewardable, and extraterritorial, and dinky. I like a dinky, small dinky farm. I mean, I think a farm should be smaller.
Congressman Blatchley, your response.
I think that the farmers are in much better shape after my 12 years in Washington because without my being there, I think the farms would have been, we would have stayed with a small model, and everybody knows it's not a satisfactory, it's not efficient, it doesn't get the most use out of materials or machinery. It concentrates in such small units that it's hardly worth but I do think there's a great future. I'm glad you brought it up because the future of agriculture is what Vermont is all about.
Congressman Blatchley, as you know, there's been a tremendous public outcry in favor of term limits for members of Congress. Opponents of term limits have viewed them as anti-democratic. What is your position on term limits?
I represent what is happening in Congress. I would not be on the important committees that I am and be able to represent Vermont as well as I do if I hadn't been there for so long.
Rebuttal for Tuttle?
Go ahead, Mr. Tuttle.
Well, I'm going now. I'm 2 years, you know, I'll probably have 4 years, but I mean, if I'm at 2 years, I'll still do quite a lot, and Sears Smithsonian and all that stuff, do quite a lot. I do a lot more than he will down there.
Mr. Tuttle, I have a question about taxes.
Right, I know all about Texas. State capitol is Austin, and state flower is Blue Bonnet.
Mr. Tuttle, I have a question about taxes. That's taxes, not Texas.
My model is don't mess with taxes.
Well, I think you can't just ignore taxes, as my opponent suggests. I think, as we all know, taxes are too high on the middle class, and they're the ones that really have to get some relief in this next 4 years, and that's what I'm going to work for.
We will now move to the section of the debate where the candidates have an opportunity to question each other.
Mr. Tuttle, I think we both agree that the issue in this campaign is trust and experience. And I guess I'd like to ask you a question about experience. Have you ever been to Washington?
No, I've been through that, of course, but I never stopped there. But, you know, I hope I get there. It looks pretty big to me. Mr. Congressman, what do these three places have in common? Aruba, Barbados, and Exuma? What does that have in common?
Well, they're all islands.
Islands, yeah. You know, these are three places that a congressman went on all taxpayers' money. Instead of it, spent all he could. We don't want him in Washington.
Well, those happen to be all places that were visited by not only myself, but by the entire Natural Resources of the Natural Resources Committee of the Congress, and we were studying the banana plantations.
Banana plantation? Oh, yeah. You expect I'm going to believe that?
Congressman Blatchley, could we have your closing statement?
Vermonters have sent me to Washington to get something done, and I've done it. There are more operating farms now than there would have been if I hadn't gone down there. There are lower electric rates, lower taxes, more jobs, and better ones. There's less pollution, better medical treatment, safer highways and bridges, and better education for our children. Sure, everything isn't done, but as the old fella said, there'll be a lot of work when we're dead. Thanks.
Mr. Tuttle, your closing remarks.
I spent all my life in the barn. Now I just want to spend a little time in the house. I close with a quote from the Bible. A living dog is better than a dead lion. So I say, better Fred than dead.
Charisma is an overused word in politics, but Fred had that special something that drew others to him. While Fred lacked experience and polish and savvy, leadership came naturally to him. While his opponents saturated the airwaves, Fred spread his name in person.
Well, the results of the latest poll are not very good. One of them shows that it's, well, it's a virtual dead heat, I'm afraid to say. I don't think it's accurate, but nonetheless, it's something we have to worry about. We got this idea, and, you know, we were talking about it before, about the negative ad that we're going to run. And I think it'd be very effective.
All right,
we just got to set it up and everything, and we got, you know, all the people.
I don't give a goddamn what you do, but make sure it gets done.
For the first time in 10 years, Congressman William Blatchley has fallen below a 50% voter preference share. In a poll taken by this station last night, Blatchley's lead over challenger Fred Tuttle has dwindled to 4 percentage points. Fred Tuttle admits that he's been digging a big hole for himself. That story and more when we come back.
Fred Tuttle is running for the U.S. House of Representatives. But what exactly do we know about Fred Tuttle? Well, we know he loves a big glass of milk. We know Fred wants to return Vermont to the 19th century. But do we really want to turn back the clock? Let's face it, the automobile, television, and bovine growth hormone are here to stay. So think about it. Is this the man you want to send to Washington? Is this your idea of an elected official? Is this Vermont's finest? As concerned citizens for Bill Blatchley, we don't think so.
Back home in Tuttle took a rare break from campaigning to dig a big hole for himself.
Boy, you know, that is awful. Trying to dig this hole, maybe we can dig our way out of it. I should hope so. I know our children, grandchildren, all those generations from now on are going to have hard times. And if everybody in the United States paid the dollar and put it in this hole here, it still wouldn't be enough to get us out of debt. I'll have to get a little deeper, yes. Sure hard digging, but maybe we can dig our way out. This deficit is a tall debt for a man and a giant debt for mankind.
October ended, as it always does, with Halloween. But ghosts and goblins didn't stop the Tuttle camp from getting out the vote. November began, as it often does, with a blast of winter. While Congressman Blatchley's flight was grounded at Dulles Airport, his challenger refused to stay home. When the storm let up, Fred went out and purchased the most advertising $16.89 would buy. But this was the kind of advertising that needed road testing.
It's been said by Time Out magazine that Man with a Plan does for New England what Fargo did for Minnesota. About sums it up and really puts it in perspective. According to Lawrence Van Gelder of the New York Times, Mr. O'Brien not only has a keen sense of the lunacy of politics, but also has a sensitive ear for sprightly musical accompaniment and an artist's eye for the natural beauties of Vermont, which is displayed in all its autumn glory. Although this was a spoof on the political scene, Fred received several write-in votes for many different offices during the last election, including president, U.S. representative, governor, lieutenant governor, state treasurer, and others. Fred, he has become Vermont's hottest commodity since Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Public television brings you this Vermont-made film, this alternative to commercial programs. Show your appreciation for this type of programming by calling the number on your screen and becoming a member of Vermont ETV. That's a toll-free number. Call right now. Hi, I'm Leanne Lee, a staff member here at Vermont ETV. With me in the studio is Ron Redfern from Frontier Communications and John O'Brien and Fred Tuttle himself. If you call in now, as a caller is doing already, I hear the phone ringing. If you call with a pledge of $60, well, we'll say thank you for that call by sending you your very own video of Man with a Plan. This you can put in your video library and enjoy again and again. It's an absolute must. And you can get it in time for Christmas if you use your MasterCard, your Visa, or your American Express. For your $75 pledge, well, we have the Spread Fred t-shirt that we'd love to send to you. If you prefer the $100 level, well, first thing we'll do is ring a cowbell here in the studio, and then we'll send you the gift packet, which includes the Man with a Plan video, the Spread Fred bumper sticker, easy for me to say, the Fred button, and a year's subscription to Yankee Magazine. But call now. Join our other viewers turning into members right now by calling that toll-free number. It's 1-800-639-8303.
And we're here in the studio with our great volunteers from Trinity College and Magic Hat, and ready to take those phone calls. And standing next to me is John O'Brien. John is the writer, producer, director of this great film, Man with a Plan. And sitting down at the end is Fred Tuttle. And if you call in, actually I think about the 12th caller, you should be able to talk directly to Fred. He's there. Fred, give a wave, will you? Give us a wave. Fred's right there. He's ready to take your call. While we're waiting for that, I wanted to ask John O'Brien, the producer, director, and writer of this film. John, quite a feat for you. You had a $100,000 budget, and you were able to get this film actually self-distributed when you're up against other films, generally with budgets around $15 million to start with. What was that like for you to go through that process?
Hard.
Yeah, right.
Well, the average Hollywood movie cost about $35 million to make.
Wow.
On top of that, they have about $15 million to distribute it. So around $50 million average Hollywood movie, whereas ours was probably about $150,000. So I mean, we're the big underdog. I mean, the funny thing about Man with a Plan is the story in the film of Fred being this enormous underdog really matches what we did as a film against Hollywood.
And then taking it to the next step, what's it like, I guess, for the Vermont film industry? How does it look and where is it going as far as what you can see? There were some films, I think there were in the Sundance Film Festival from Vermont this year, the most ever, and do you see the industry growing, and where do you think it's going?
Yeah, no, I think per capita, I think more films are being made in Vermont probably than anywhere in the country right now. It's really terrific. I think both Man with a Plan and Jake Raven's movies, every film we go a little bit further, so I think the films behind Man with a Plan that are being made now that will come out in the next year hopefully will go even further than this. And I think ETV is going to be doing a lot of regional programming like this, so it's pretty exciting to see homegrown films independently produced on regional television.
It's great to see that link and that support, like you say, between ETV and all the creative people that do live in this state, John included. Talk a little bit about, a little bit more, but we got to switch to Leanne. Let's go to that phone if you can, 1-800-639-8303.
You know, public television exists because of the partnerships that we have, and having this partnership with independent filmmakers is just another example of how public television works. We're very proud to be premiering this film here on public television, and in October we'll be distributing it to all public television stations across the nation. So if you like what we're doing here, if you like this idea of helping out the Vermont filmmakers and broadcasting it right into your living room, call the number you see on your screen and say thank you to Vermont ETV. Become a member. I'd like to thank some folks who have called in their pledge already. William and Emma Lannon of Ludlow, Vermont. Thank you very much, Mom and Dad. Carol Schnaub of Morrisville, thank you very much for your pledge. Esther Johnson of Fairleigh, Vermont has called in. Nancy Boone of Montpelier, thank you very much, Nancy. Donald Marsh of Marshfield, and Thomas Kilborn of Bristol. Thank you ever so much for your calls of support for Man with a Plan and for Vermont ETV. We really appreciate all the support that you have given us. We'd like to hear some more cowbells here and get that tote board ticking away. And, you know, we have an overall goal for December of $561,000. And how we're going to get there is we set these individual goals for programs, and we try to get that tote board just as high as we possibly can, taking these little milestones, call by call, viewer by viewer, turning into member, cowbell by cowbell, and that's how it all works, and that's how we're going to reach that $561,000 mark. But it is ever so dependent on you. Remember, for your $60 pledge, we'll send you the video. $75 pledge, we'll send you the t-shirt. For your $100 pledge, we'll send you the gift pack. But do call right now, 1-800-639-8303.
And I'm here with Alan Newman, who is the Wizard Supreme Commander, President of Magic Hat Brewing Company, and also John O'Brien, who is the writer, creator, producer, director of Man with a Plan, the film that we're watching right now. Alan, I wanted to have you up and just thank you very much. I know you've had a great involvement with Man with a Plan and have done some terrific things helping John along, but tonight especially you came through to help support this particular program with some funding to make sure that it went on the air.
Well, this to me was, is a great opportunity because we have ETV, which we're a real fan of, and we've got John and Man with a Plan and his new movie that we're a real fan of, and so this was an opportunity for us to kind of, help both at the same time. It was great.
It's a great
really
connection.
fun.
And also, you've done some great things just in the community. I know in general you tend to do a lot of promotions. You even, I think you said, did a beer tasting with in promoting the film. Talk a little bit about that, or maybe you don't want to talk about that.
Well, we really, ever since we began, the whole focus of what we do is to help promote entertainment in the community, and we try to help wherever we can, and whether it's in films, whether it's on stage, whether it's music, whether it's television, it's all entertainment. We think that, especially with all the federal cutbacks and funding, that it's got to get picked up someplace. I think to us, to me, entertainment is not a frivolous thing. It's where I personally draw a lot of my enthusiasm for life in, and it's where I learn a lot about how the world works, and I just love entertainment. And so Magic Hat has kind of made it a kind of a company event to try to help support, especially the local arts, the local entertainment, and try to help pick up where the federal government is pulling away.
And it's really great having companies like you and others around the area to really make a difference. John, let's talk a little bit about what's happening for you on your next film. Now, you've made a community trilogy. Your first film...
The Tunbridge Trilogy.
Is it the Tunbridge Trilogy?
Right,
Is that,
it is.
The first film was...
What's called Vermont is for Lovers, then Man with a Plan, and the next one's Nosy Parker. And my whole idea when I came back to Vermont from college was to get some of these oral histories. The average age of my hill was about 80 years old, so I came up with this idea called community cinema, which was everybody gets to play themselves, because no one can play Fred Tuttle better than Fred Tuttle.
Got to cut you off. We'll come back to that, but hang on. Go to the phones. Why don't you dial 1-800-639-8303.
Speaking of federal and state cuts, we have experienced devastating cuts last year amounting to very close to $500,000. So what does that mean to us? Well, it means we are more dependent on viewer support than ever before. That's why it's so very important when we extend this invitation to you that you take us up on it and call that toll-free number and help us out, help independent filmmakers out together in this partnership called Public Television. We'd like to get to that $5,000 mark just as soon as we can and then move on to the $6,000 mark, and we can do it with your support. We've heard from many people this evening. I'd like to thank some anonymous folks who've called in their pledge. Here's a $60 pledge from East Fairfield, Vermont. Here's another $60 pledge from Montpelier. Here's a $100 pledge from Chittenden, Vermont. Thank you ever so much. And here's a $60 pledge from Keene. So call right now with your pledge if you haven't already. We are so dependent on viewer support. So go to your phone, call that toll-free number, and turn yourself in as a member of Vermont ETV. We are here because of partnerships, and there's a partnership between the Merchants Bank. They take care of our charge processing free of charge. Partnership between Frontier Communications because of our toll-free number, and of course a partnership with John O'Brien presenting Man with a Plan. Call now. It's toll-free, 1-800-639-8303.
And I've got a couple of partners with me right here. I've got John O'Brien,
On my far right, who is the writer, producer, director of Man with a Plan, who's here with us in the studio tonight, along with Fred Tuttle, and also Alan Newman, who is the Supreme Commander, Wizard, and President of Magic Hat Brewing Company in Burlington. I'm going to keep embellishing that title as we go along.
You go right ahead.
You know, we really need to get those phones going, guys, because as it turns out,
Fred's sitting down there with no phones.
Fred is down at the end. He will answer the 12 phone calls. So go to your phones, make that pledge, and there's a good chance that when you make that call, you're going to talk to Fred Tuttle. Spend some time with him, and Fred has some great insights, by the way, if you want to ask him about some changes and some things that are going on in Vermont. He's a very wise man, and I think we probably all learned a lot from Fred.
Absolutely.
Just not only watching this movie, but talking to you, John. What are some of the things that Fred has taught you in the time that you've been with him?
Well, it's Fred and the rest of the neighbors on the hill. I mean, one thing I found out is, well, I grew up in Tunbridge. I've known Fred my whole life. It really wasn't until I started making these movies, getting out of my car, filming these people, spending a lot of time with them, that I really learned a lot about, you know, growing up before television, before automobiles, before VCRs, how Vermont's changed. And
I think that's a good point too, Alan. Probably you would agree with this too. Is that
before microbreweries?
Right, before microbreweries.
Homebrew then.
There has been so much change in Vermont. So over the last 20, 30, 50 years, and that in a way, this film really documents some very important people, people that we won't see again. This is a generation that we won't experience, and they've made a huge contribution to the state. And you, in a way, have captured these people's lives, and that's a very important thing to do, as our state is definitely changing. We got to break away just for a second. Let's go back, have everybody go to those phones, dial 1-800-639-8303.
Here's how we can stretch your membership dollars when you support quality programs and services at Vermont ETV. With a pledge of only $35 or more, you'll receive our monthly program guide filled with program highlights, ETV information, and a detailed program schedule. As a member, you'll also receive our new Vermont ETV member card, which entitles you to discounts at more than 100 participating organizations throughout New England and Quebec. In addition, members receive discounts on various Vermont ETV videos, t-shirts, and tote bags. You'll also be the first to know about upcoming special events. All of this along with a year's worth of your favorite programs right here on Vermont ETV. Your support makes all the difference, so call now and become a member today.
I just want to remind you that we can get these thank you gifts out in time for Christmas if you use your MasterCard, your Visa, or your American Express. Your $60 pledge, we will send you the video of Man with a Plan, and that'd be a wonderful gift for someone. Maybe you'd like to pledge 120 and keep one for yourself and give one away. Also the t-shirt, $75, and the gift pack for $100. But the important thing is for you to call right now. Fred is still waiting for that 12th call, and if you're not yet a member, why don't you get on the phone right now and see if you can't become a member of Vermont ETV, and if you're that lucky number 12, you'll actually get to talk to Fred himself. I'd like to thank some more folks who've called in their pledge this evening. Doug Brown of St. Albans, thank you very much. Jean Webb of Plattsburgh. Emerson Frost of Pittsford says that Emerson said he saw Fred on and thought it was a great time to renew. I think so too. Debbie Crown of Heinsberg, thank you very much. Adam Nickerson of Burlington says he loves the news on Vermont ETV. Martha Martini of Bradford says she likes everything. Janet Wild of St. Albans loves our nature programs. Call if you haven't called already. I see that Fred is the very next person that you'll be talking to right now if you call. He still is not on the phone. We're waiting for you to place that call right now. It's important as we turn as many members into, as many viewers into members as we possibly can, because this is what makes public television happen. And we're trying to get that tote board as high as we possibly can. I wonder if we're at that $5,000 level yet. I'm not sure. I hear a lot of activity, phones ringing, bells ringing, tote board ticking. It's up to you to make that call at 1-800-639-8303.
And I'm here again with John O'Brien on my far right, who is the writer, producer, director of Man with a Plan. He's here in the studio with us tonight, along with Fred Tuttle, as Leanne was saying, and Alan Newman, who is helping support this program tonight. He's the president of Magic Hat Brewing Company, and we're all talking about a changing Vermont and how important this film is, and a lot of other films that have been produced in the last couple of years, recording what Vermont really means, the older generation, the people who really built this state, and what a tribute this film is as far as archiving the farming industry, the farming community. And you were talking a little bit earlier, I had to cut you off, about what that's been like for you to connect with these folks and to see those changes and see the wisdom that in a way might be lost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ETV's done, what, Vermont Memories and the Farming Project. So I think this fits in very nicely. What I was getting at was, one, to make, they're not really documentaries because they're fictional stories. But so it's like a documentary, but a lot more entertaining. Which is this whole idea of anthropological
I think
comedy.
the humor you bring to it. I mean, the thing that I always found fascinating about Man with a Plan is the humor that you bring into everyday circumstances and situations, which really makes it fun.
Right. And you get that from the story and also from people like Fred, who are just naturally charismatic.
We were talking also about Vermont politics. You noticed that Fred didn't have a handler. The congressman had a handler, somebody who was helping with the strategy, and Fred went out and talked to his neighbors and talked to his friends and said, what do I do? And I guess that says a lot about the character of Fred and others. And I'm sure you're trying to, your interest in politics, trying to maybe make a statement or pull that piece out and talk a little bit about how maybe it's not such a bad idea to talk to your friends and maybe you don't need to have a spinster all the time or a spinning machine all the time that's going on. But while we're going on here, we need you to go to those phones. We've got volunteers from Trinity College and Magic Hat Brewing Company ready to take your calls. We've still got some people that are ready to answer the phone. Fred just took a $120 pledge, so now you've got to go to the phones. His phone is open. You can call him again. Fred Tuttle is there waiting to take your call. John O'Brien, who's the writer, producer, director of the film, and also Alan Newman are here with me. We're waiting for your call. Go to the phone, won't you? 1-800-639-8303.
$5,630 right now. That's absolutely marvelous. Now let's see if we can get that up to the $6,000 mark. Every viewer turning into a member helps us get higher and higher on that tote board, and eventually helps us toward that $561,000 goal, where we have to be by the end of December. All the calls, all the cowbells, all the little ticks on the tote board all help, whether you're sending in your renewal or you're calling as a new member. However way you call and let us know that public television is important to you, we really do appreciate it. I'd like again to thank some of the viewers who have made this night so wonderful for us and have called in their pledge. Patty Hallam of South Burlington, my neighbor, thank you very much. Grace Anderson of Shaftesbury has called in a pledge. Maxine Siegel says she loves our mystery programs and our nature shows. That's from Burlington. Thank you ever so much. Margaret Murat of Plattsburgh loves British comedies. Gerald O'Connor of South Royalton has called in a pledge. Paul Cabot of Plainfield, New Hampshire. So many folks are calling in their support for Man with a Plan, for Vermont's homegrown film itself, and for Vermont filmmakers and Vermont ETV and public television in general for making this opportunity possible. So call right now in support of Vermont ETV and what we're doing, and let us know that it's important to you. And remember, you can get your gifts in time for Christmas if you use your MasterCard, your Visa, or your American Express. It's a toll-free number, 1-800-639-8303.
It is a toll-free number, and we're waiting for you to call, and we've got lots of volunteers here, both from Trinity College and from Magic Hat Brewing Company. They are an awesome group, and they need you to go to the phone because these folks are ready to take your pledge. It takes just a couple of minutes, very simple. As Leanne was saying, it's a very simple process, credit card. There's another $120 pledge. Every time you hear a cowbell, you'll know that that's going on. Fred Tuttle is manning the phone, and he will take your call. We're still waiting to, there's Fred, and he's been trained. He's ready to take your pledge, and we'd love to talk to you. So please go to your phone if you'd like to talk to Fred, and there's a good chance you'll get him. I'm here with John O'Brien, who's the writer, producer, director of Man with a Plan, and also with Alan Newman, who is helping tonight through his company as president of Magic Hat Brewing Company. He's helping to fund this show tonight and has been a big supporter a long time of John O'Brien and his work. And we were talking a little bit about a changing Vermont and about how there seems to be a shift in participation, a difference in what people do, and maybe that's kind of changing the character of our state now. And you were talking a little bit with John off camera about that.
Yeah, I was just asking, my wife and I have been talking lately about the lack of participation. There was a day when people would bring their instruments to dinner parties and sit around after dinner and they'd play music, or neighbors would come together and put on plays for the other neighbors. And I was just asking John whether out in Tunbridge, where where society hasn't hit as hard yet. Whether they are more participatory than in South Burlington, where it's almost unheard of these days.
Right.
You know,
Talk to a neighbor. That's
but you go to the movies,
Exactly.
you go to Nectar's, you know, you
Right.
turn on the television,
Yeah.
but rarely do people participate in
connect.
creating their own entertainment.
Yeah, no, I think Tunbridge has probably more than South Burlington, but I think just in general, that Fred's generation has seen a huge change as far as the whole idea of community, of, you know, from barn raisings to kitchen junkets to minstrel shows to dances at this place called Dreamland at the Tunbridge Fair. All that's, you know, pretty much gone.
I think barn raisings and house raisings I put into that same category. When I first came to Vermont, I would say probably 4 times a summer. We would do some barn raising or house raising, and I don't know that gets done as much anymore.
It really does, and I think this whole thing that you're doing, maybe in your next project, you hit on that as well, this next film that you're doing, Nosy Parker?
The next film's about town listers, or really native Vermonters who are suspicious of people moving to Vermont. In this case, people who come and build a big mansion. So it's all about the tension of whoever's the last to arrive is the most discriminated against. And I think that's true in a lot of towns like Tunbridge, maybe even more so than South Burlington.
Yeah,
So there's a lot. I think it's actually an American theme.
It'd be interesting if it comes back, because
A lot of them, you know, I just noticed it.
Didn't know they were here before.
No, not when I went on my campaign.
You don't have a problem with them, do you?
No, they're good people, yeah.
Because they vote too.
Yeah, they vote too, yeah. Most of them vote for me, see. That's one good thing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm friendly with them.
How about health care? That's a problem. A lot of people having, I was talking to your dad earlier, he was having trouble paying for his medicine.
Yeah,
Is that right?
we want to, that's one priority we want in Washington, is that health care. So all the old people can have, everybody can have health care.
Now, how many pills do you take in the morning?
About 15.
15? You were saying something about how much they cost you.
Oh, one kind cost $55 for 30.
He's paying $55 for 30 pills.
That won't happen when I get down there.
Another kind is $50 for 30.
Now, what do you do about that? What do you do about that?
Oh, I don't really know, but, you know, I got a lot of problems here. I got my secretary who's going to figure out some of this and help me.
The secretary will. But, you know, if we look for some specifics, you know, like on environment, for example.
Yeah.
How about, you know, what kind of initiatives would you look for to help, you know, on environmental issues?
No, LBJ said, don't spit in the soup. We've all got to eat it. And my God, you know that's true?
Don't spit in the soup.
We've all got to eat it.
Gotta eat it. That's what he said. Joe, is there anything in his past that he might be embarrassed about? Has he been a good son?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very good.
Has he?
Yeah.
Does he always behave?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. When I was going to school to village, I pulled a girl's dress up. You know, the teacher, she grabbed me and she pulled every button off my shirt.
Is that right?
When I come home that night, my dad said, no, I ain't going to sew those buttons on. The teacher's going to, she'll do that. And I wore that shirt 4 or 5 days before the teacher sewed those buttons on. Right in it, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I washed it and brushed it every night. Dried it.
No button.
Well, you didn't put the buttons back on.
No.
Just because I pulled that girl's dress up.
That was his punishment, huh?
Yeah, that was my punishment. Teacher, she shook the devil out of me.
You know, I don't really know why this is, Fred, but some of the recent polls show that you're closing in on Bill Blatchley. You got it down to within 2%. Do you know why that is? I mean, are you for real, or is it just some sort of fluke?
You know, if people lead, I'll follow.
So, Joe, did you ever think you'd live long enough to see your son become a U.S. congressman?
No.
You didn't? You think he'd make a good one?
I think so. And I'll tell you all about it in 2 years.
Good morning, I'm Bruce Lyons. With 4 days to go until a general election, the hotly contested U.S. House race in Vermont cannot get much closer. Incumbent Bill Blatchley is now clinging to a 1-point lead over challenger Fred Tuttle.
With his lead slipping away, the honorable congressman became a desperate man.
If anybody asks you about it, you know nothing. All right? I'll do it all myself.
Fine.
Is that all
do
right?
it.
You want me to do that?
Yes, I don't give a goddamn what you do as long as it's done. It's your job, it's my job. But this guy's got to be stopped.
Look, in 2 days, I'll have photographic proof of Fred Tuttle involved in an orgy.
Up until this point, Fred had found politics kind of boring. Little did he